All right, so the equation for circles, and we are doing chapter 10, by the way, but this is not in chapter 10. This is like in chapter 1 or something, and we skipped it. So we just like threw it back into chapter 10. The equation in graphing form would be x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. The center is hk. So what you notice is that the h is the opposite sign and the k is the opposite sign. Both of them are the opposite sign. And then the radius is r. So if we are writing an equation that has a center at -3, 7, then I will do x plus 3 squared plus y minus 7 squared equals, and then I'll have to do the radius squared. So I'm plugging that into x minus h. It's just, since the h was negative, it became positive. And I'll just simplify. And 28. All right, just writing the equation of a circle from some given information. Here's some different information. By the way, that graph right there is just in case you need it to kind of visualize what we're finding the answer to. The endpoints of the diameter are at 4, 5, and -6, 1. We have to find the equation of the circle. They did not tell me the radius, and they did not tell me the center. How can we find either? Distance formula for what? Distance formula to find the radius, is that what you said? Oh, what did you say? You just, I can never understand you. And then half of that. Okay, so this is the diameter. So if we use the distance formula, that's the part I didn't hear, was the half that. Okay, so we're going to use the distance formula. That will be 10 squared plus 6 squared. Break that down. Goes into 136. 4 maybe? 4. So we get 2 radical 34 for the distance between these two endpoints. That's our diameter. Divide by 2, so we get our radius of square root 34. Okay, got our radius. So now, Madeline, you wanted to tell me about the center. Yes. The midpoint between these 2 points. So we use our midpoint formula. So we should have x plus 1 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals 34. So what you will experience in this chapter is not going to be just completely like, here's the center, here's the radius, stick the numbers in. It's going to be a little bit more problem solving, where they're going to give you some pieces of information. You have to find the information that we actually need to put into the formula. So the third one has a center at 3, 3, and the line 2x minus y equals -7 is tangent to the circle. So we talk about problem solving. Center at 3, 3, I know is going to be x minus 3 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals, don't know the radius. So here's the problem solving. What's something that we could do if we have no idea how to get started? If we have no idea how to get started, what's something we could possibly try? Or maybe you already know how to get started. What's something that we could try if we have no idea? What about use the tangent? Let's use this graph. Let's draw the stuff. Okay, we've got a center at 3, 3. There is a line that is tangent to it. 2x minus y equals -7. How do I graph that equation? I can. So then we could start at 7 and go up 2/1. So according to the directions, there is a circle that has a radius. Oh, it doesn't have a radius. We don't know the radius. It has a center at 3, 3, and it is tangent. It is tangent to the circle. What does tangent mean? Touching, like, more specifically, 1 point only. So there's going to be some point, and this is just an approximation because that is not a circle. So an approximation here, somewhere around here, I'll just make it really big. Somewhere around here, there's like 1 point where it's tangent. What I want us to do is I want us to algebraically find the answer and not just use the graph, just because. So I gave you one that you can look at the graph and find, but I want to make sure you know how to do it just in case you can't look at the graph and find it. Christopher, what do you want to say? The radius will be 90 degrees perpendicular with the tangent at the point of tangency. Yes, that is true. We got to remember some geometry stuff. So it touches 1 point. It's 90 degrees with the radius. We need to find the length of the radius. We know one ordered pair is 3, 3. Gracie? Flip what? Flip what? The slope. Okay. So the slope of this line is 2. The perpendicular slope is -0.5. So now what could we do? Well, if I do +7, it's going to cross up here. And I don't think. So the -1/2 x is definitely important. How can we find the equation of a line when we know the slope and we know 1 point that passes through that line? Point slope form. So if we use point slope form, y minus 3 equals -1/2 x minus 3, -1/2 x minus 3. That's the equation of the radius line. And I just went ahead and made it like y equals. But what am I trying to find between the line the tangent line and the radius line. What am I trying to find between these here? Where they cross. How can we use algebra to do that? How can we find where two graphs intersect using algebra? I can't understand what you guys are saying. Sorry. Barry? Set them equal to each other. Well, to do that, we would have both of them need to say what first? Like y equals or both say x equals, then we can set them equal to each other. We can solve by substitution, systems of equations. We can set them equal to each other, or you could take this and just plug it in the y spot there. Either of those works. And I'm going to multiply everything by 2 because I don't want to deal with fractions. Let's solve this. And I get x equals -1. I'm going to plug that back into the original question. I thought it was the aliens. Sorry. That's okay. Right in front.
Women empowering women.
All right, so I got an ordered pair of -1, 5 by using substitution, -1, 5. So now we can use our distance formula to find the distance between the 2 points. So I need to simplify this. I mean, no, because I just want to put 20 over here. Just, you know, thinking ahead. I didn't need to do that, but I did it by the time you asked, so, or answered. Okay, so that might be like the most challenging question you might have, okay? I can't imagine any that are more challenging than that right now. Okay, when it goes to graphing, should be pretty easy to graph. You're to find your center. What? Somebody yell out the center for this one. -1, 3. Good. Radius 2. So we're going to go -1, 3. And then we're going to go northeast, southwest 2. And I'm just going to give you a hint about just drawing a good circle on here. I mean, besides using the like software, if you don't want to use the software, I would suggest, and this is going to be important for other conic sections that we graph, I would suggest envisioning a box around that all 4, can't really call them vertices, but all 4 of those points would pass through. And then as I connect those, I'm just going to kind of use that box as my guide to make it look circular. And I just do like 2 points at a time. That's how I can do my best circles and when we get to them, ellipses. So that's just a suggestion. If you are graphing yours and they're looking terrible, the box helps a lot. Okay, so the second one for -3 is the center. The radius is √5. So to graph, let's see, for -3, to graph √5, you could take that and find the decimal, or you could even just kind of think about it. √4 is 2. So √5 is 2 point. I mean, the next square root is 9. 2.2 maybe. And how accurate could I really draw 2.1 or 2.2 or 2.3? They're all going to look like the same thing anyway. So I'm just going to make it a little bit more than 2. Save myself a little bit of effort, not have to open up my calculator. And then if you draw the square, it'll be easier to connect those points in a circular fashion. See, the ones I didn't draw it for look terrible. But you guys might be a better artist than me, especially on the computer. I'm better at doing it on paper, that's for sure. Okay. In example 3, state the center and the radius of the given circle. So you can see this is not in the correct form. So we're going to change it and put it in the correct form. What you want to do to change the form is you want to start by grouping your x's together. So x squared minus 14x. And then I'm going to skip a space on purpose. Then I'm going to group my y's plus y squared plus 4y. And I'm going to purposely leave a space. And then I'm going to group my constant, my negative 11. I'm going to move it to the other side, become positive 11. I'm going to set it up this way. And what I'm going to put in these spaces is a square. So what we get to do is we get to complete the square so that we can make these into perfect square trinomials and then factor them so they are in the form of the graphing form for the circle, standard graphing form. So negative 14 divided by 2 squared tells me 49 goes here, but it also has to go on the other side. 4 divided by 2 squared tells me 4 goes here, but we have to add it on the other side as well. Then I will factor and add together the other side, which you get 64. And this becomes the equation that we're using. The center at 7, negative 2, and a radius of 8. Okay, questions on that? Nope. Okay, then you try the next one. If you got that one, go ahead and read the next question, and I'll catch up to you. If you're still working, that's fine. Same with the comment, but you have the lesson correct. I saw it out of the corner of my eye. Did you guys do some of this last year? With that? Right before quarantine. So like a year ago, basically. So for example 4, I threw a graph in there just in case somebody needed to picture what was going on. We have a circle with a center at 3, -2. And it says it contains the point 8, 2. That means the circle is passing through that point 8, 2. So that's going to give me a way to find the radius. Distance formula. And so we'll get x minus 3 squared plus y plus 2 squared equals 40.